Okay.
Your European tour is getting close to the end, and how do you feel about it?
I've been very happy with the tour, and it's the best tour I think we've ever had for Europe. I think we've had other tours that were just as strong musically, but in terms of people enjoying and fans and attendance, it's been the best.
Right. And have you got any feelings which you didn't have before you started this tour?
Well, I think just generally it's becoming more and more obvious to everybody in the band that the end is coming, because now as of today there's only 6 more shows, so it's getting more and more like over our heads.
Right. How about have you got new music ideas or something?
Yeah, I have lots of ideas. What I actually end up doing, I'm not really sure.
Right. And you said before, if you're an artist, you always want it to come out to release. And now there's only 2 months left for the band. And how would you make it possible to come it out?
I don't understand.
I think she wants to ask, like you always said, you want to release something because you're an artist and create something.
Yeah.
And if you got the new idea now, how would you release it? Because there's only 2 months left.
Well, I mean, I guess that goes to what I'm going to do, what kind of music I'm going to make, and who I'm going to make it with. For the Pumpkins, there's still plenty to do because there's so many live recordings, unreleased songs, and documentaries, and so there's other things to do for the Pumpkins, even if the band's not a band anymore.
So you're still going to release something else, like Pumpkins?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And last time they interviewed you 3 years ago, you said for Pumpkins, the live performance is the place where you can reveal the result of the experiments. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But in this tour, it seems to hard that you play the song on record as it is, like without changing too much.
Right.
Did you intend to do that?
I don't know. I don't know if I would agree with that. Well, it is very different than on the record. Stand Inside Your Love, we mostly play acoustic. So I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with them. I think that things are they're about as different as they've always been. I don't think the band jams as much, but that's because there's more songs to play.
But you wanted to play the song as it is?
No, I'm saying I disagree with the question.
Right. Okay. Whenever you released the album in the past, you tried to change the music style, but as for Messina album, you seemed to sum up the Pumpkins' music rather than doing some new stuff or making a new style.
Right.
And why did you decide to do that?
Well, because I knew there was no future, so there was really nothing else to push for. In some ways, I wanted to bring the whole time of the band into some sort of perspective, both for the audience and for the band. And internally, there wasn't enough strength really to go and do a progressive album. So we put the energy more into the words, into the concept of the album than the music, as far as being progressive.
You always told us that you wanted to write songs which people couldn't imagine and to surprise people. And did you not think that you could carry on this until this last album?
That's a hard question to answer. It's hard to explain.
Or did you think it's the right ending for the band?
No, of course it's not the right ending. I mean, it's a decent ending, but it's not the right ending. The right ending for the band should have been after Melancholy, or should have been with all 4 band members in the band, and making strong as music as the band could make. So the last 2 albums in the last 4 years have been very difficult because of the personnel problems and drug problems and all the other problems. So.
So do you kind of regret you carry on like this?
Sometimes, yeah. Overall, no, I don't regret. I think that there's been a lot of good things that have come out of the last 4 years, but is it as productive or as high a level as it should have been? No. And that obviously has something to do with why I'm getting out of the band.
Right. Okay. And I said that before that Pumpkins music made by us, but torn apart by people. And who are the people you meant? Are they listeners or the press or other bands who follow the Pumpkins?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, generally the media has not understood the band. The fans have so fallen in love with the old Smashing Pumpkins that they refuse to understand the new Smashing Pumpkins. And so I guess everybody's ripped it apart. And at some point when the fans start ripping it apart, the band can't help but do the same. For the first 8 years of the band, we really didn't care what anybody thought. And somewhere along the way, maybe because of people paying so much attention from fans level, we started paying more attention to what the fans thought. And the fans' disappointment over the last 4 years has really hurt the band. That doesn't mean we don't think the fans have been loyal or haven't been supportive in their own way. But the Smashing Pumpkins, here's one thing I will say about the end of the band. People really won't realize how great the Smashing Pumpkins are or were until the band is gone. Because the band gives the fans so much that the fans, it's like a tray of desserts. The fans can say, "Oh, I don't want that one today. I don't want that one today." Well, when people have to turn around and look to another band for the amount of desserts that they got from us, they're not going to find. They're not going to find the amount of songs. They're not going to find the long concerts. They're not going to find the alternate versions. They're not going to find the attention that the band pays to the fans. They're not going to find the autograph sessions. They're not going to find any of this. And in some ways, I think that, and I mean it in a good way, the fans have become like spoiled children who have so much that they don't appreciate the toys they have. So, I think now that the band is ending, then people will start to realize, my God, one thing that will happen, I think, in the next 2 or 3 years without the Pumpkins is the fans of the Pumpkins, maybe for a while, will put the Pumpkins albums away and they'll say, well, that's done with and I'm going to go find some new music now. Then one day they'll realize, well, I haven't really found much, and they'll go back and they'll listen to Machina and Machina 2 and Adore and Siamese Dream B-sides that maybe they didn't listen to, and they'll start to hear what we were really trying to get at. Because the band's music has been very consistent, and the fans won't let it be consistent, but it has been consistent, and it will be more apparent over time. So that speaks to some of the things that she's asking.
So in that case, you think Pumpkins are part of destroyed by fans?
No, I wouldn't put it in the fans' responsibility. It's just the process of rock and roll. The Pumpkins have tried to be greater than rock and roll. Most bands spend their energy, on the way they look, or making sure that they do the right things. The Pumpkins have never worried about those things. We've always just keep go, 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 and so it's just the business of rock and roll. The constant attacks, the misunderstandings, the sense of betrayal, all these things, they add up to just make it impossible to continue. It's not the fans' fault. It's not the band's fault. It's not the media's fault. It's just everything combines at some point it just becomes too difficult. We're human beings, and again, like I said, we've given so much that people can't appreciate everything we've given. It'll be more obvious later on. So I feel very confident with that, and I think the band will mean more to people actually in the future than it did in the past.
Yeah, and as you said, now lots of musicians got influenced by Smashing Pumpkins, and in fact there are so many bands who likes Pumpkins and wants to make a music like Pumpkins in Japan as well. And how do you feel about it?
I feel very good. I think that's, the old saying goes, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. So I'm glad the band's influencing other bands, and I'm honored. Doesn't bother me.
And do you think this situation is a kind of triumph for Pumpkins?
Can you be more specific?
Like there are so many bands influenced by Pumpkins.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you can't be egoistic about it, because the Pumpkins have been influenced by so many other bands, The Cure and Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath. So to praise the Pumpkins is also to praise the influences that were ours, and then all those people were influenced by. It's a tradition, It's like, it's like somebody saying, "Oh, they're the hot new Japanese designer." Well, Japanese fashion is 4,000 years old. It's not like this guy thought all of a sudden, "Oh, I'm going to make these skirts." It's not that big a deal.
Right. Okay. But to her, you are the winner because you've been established your own music and like over the world. Conquer the world. So do you really admit you was a loser because you said you have lost the battle of the something?
Yeah. Well, when I was a little boy, and I would watch sports on TV, I wouldn't know anything about the team that was wearing black or the team that was wearing white. So I would always root for the team that was losing. So if it was baseball, and the black team had 4 runs and the white team had 1 run, I would always root for the white team. And then if the white team would have 5 runs and the black team would have 4, then I would root for the black team. I always want the loser to win and the winner to lose.
Yeah.
So it's easier for me to psychologically think of myself as the loser because I want to win. If I think I'm the winner, then I want to destroy everything.
Right. So subconsciously you think you're going to win.
Always.
Yeah.
And I will.
Good.
I believe.
Yeah, really exciting. And since you announced the split up, you have been talking about the concept of the songs and your thoughts behind the music.
Right.
Like you doing something on website.
Right.
And why did you do that? Why did you decide to do that?
You mean in the beginning?
Yeah, like you start talking about the concept.
Well, excuse me. When we decided to do Machina, I explained to the band the concept and the story behind the album, and we made a decision to not, when we put out the album, to explain to the fans what the album actually means. Rather, it would be a mystery that the fans would have to figure out for themselves. And then at an appropriate time, then I will reveal the mystery. So now we're having a contest on the internet, and whoever gets closest to the story of the album wins 2 tickets to the final concert. And the second prize, I think, is we're giving away the bass from Siamese Dream. So, because if in the beginning I explain the story of Machina, then there would be no mystery, and then all anybody would do is read the story, listen to the album, and say, "Oh, that's it." By not explaining the thing, look at everything that's happened. People are saying, "Why are they dressing this way? What does this mean? What does this? When he writes this, what is he trying to say?" It's created all sorts of other moments and energies that wouldn't have existed if we had revealed the story from the beginning. And the only difference is now the story is just going to come 1 year after the album. And now that people have thought about the story, when they learn the story, now they will go back again and try to understand, oh, that's what that means, and when he says that. For example, one thing I still can't believe, this just shows you how stupid journalists are. When I was writing, everything I was writing for the story. I wasn't always writing for me. So in the song Heavy Metal Machine, I sing, if I was dead, would my record sell? Well, when I write such a line, to me it's obviously so stupid. It's a stupid thing to say. And it's obviously sort of sarcastic. Well, all the record reviews I read believe that's Billy Corgan actually believes that he would have to die to get his records to sell. And what kind of person thinks like that? And they must be fucked up in the head. And what a joke he is. And it only proves that I'm right what people think about me, that I'm a joke. But also, it shows. It's trying to show the fans that there's a joke here, and the fans sometimes get the joke, but sometimes the fans take the joke so seriously. I think that it's been a very interesting process, and I've been basically pleased with the results and the fans being very interested on the internet on the story of Machina, and it'll be, I think, even more interesting now when we reveal the story. And then people can go back and really enjoy the music. People are going to realize how smart Machina really is when they see how much I messed with everybody's head and how everybody got deceived.
You have said that Pumpkin's music aims to communicate with rock fans, and as well as the people who want the deeper insight into the music.
Right.
That's why you think the experimental sound and abstract lyrics are important. Do you think this philosophy is still important to you?
It won't be as important to me outside of the Pumpkins.
Right.
I've been thinking a lot. I realize in thinking a lot about what I'm going to do after the band that many aspects of the aesthetic or concepts of the band are going to die with the Pumpkins. That I'm not going to carry over some of these things, because the good thing about the Pumpkins is it's a very aggressive agenda, musically and non-musically, theatrical. Fucking with media, fucking with audience. But as a musician, it's made me very tired. And I want to go back to being a musician. So some fans in the future may be disappointed because there may not be as much complexity, but I hope to make strong music and make that a priority. Because in some ways I think I get too distracted by trying to do too many things instead of worrying just about music.
And also there seems to be a conflict between what people want from you and what you want, and how do you feel about it?
Well, I think that's always going to be a problem, because the positive end of that problem is that I've established in people's minds the idea that I can do different things. If I only established in people's mind that I could do one thing, then all the argument would be is, why aren't you doing the one thing? But there's Siamese Dream fans, Melancholy fans, Machina fans, Adore fans, and they all have different opinions on what I should do, what kind of music I should make. Some people really like the electronic direction of the band. Some people thought it was horrible. Some people only want to hear Siamese Dream kind of music and guitars, and everything else is bad. This says that I've done something right. I just haven't always found the thing that everybody agrees on. So it's always going to be a problem. There's always going to be somebody complaining. If I make a sophisticated album of music after the Pumpkins, half the people are going to complain right away. And if I make folk music, half the people are going to complain because it's not rock. So whatever I do, it's always going to be the same thing. It doesn't bother me. I accept.
I guess you're going to carry on making music. Are you?
I hope to, but I can't say for sure.
Right. So what are you intending to do in future? Are you doing making a band or doing a solo career or?
Honestly, I don't know.
You don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's your intention behind putting Messina 2 on the website?
More than anything, I wanted to end the band with sort of something different, and I think that putting out a free album was the way to do that. You know, I mean, I would be lying if I didn't say that we originally wanted to put the album out through our record company, and the original intention was, if you bought Machina 1, you would get Machina 2 for free.
Oh, I see.
You know, we had proposed an idea to the record company. You buy Machina 1, you get some sort of special code, you go to a website, and then you get Machina 2 for free.
I see.
That was the original idea.
Right.
And the record company loved the idea, but because of all the conflicts that the music industry has with Napster and the RIAA and everything, they said we can't do it. So it's not that they didn't want the album because they didn't like it or didn't want it. They didn't want the album because it was going to cause too many problems with the Napster sort of issues. So, you know, so then we have this other album sitting there. The original idea was, okay, we won't put out this album, and 10 years from now we'll reissue Machina and we will put Machina 2 with it.
Right.
But when I went into the studio to finish the songs, because I wanted to finish before the band broke up, with the idea of putting the tapes away and letting them sit, I thought, I don't want to finish this music and then leave it in a box. Fuck it. And so we came up with the idea just to put it out. And I'm glad we did, because music shouldn't sit in a box. It's pointless.
Yeah.
No. Why should good music sit in a box for 10 years so I can make a better box set?
Yeah. And in a way, she thinks it's good because she thinks Pumpkin seeks for the meaning of the communication and to face the possibilities of the music, and you did the thing what you think right. And having thought that this web project is the most suitable work for Pumpkins as the last work, do you think it's true?
Yeah, because it's in the spirit of independent music, alternative music. I'm not a punk person, but it's in the punk spirit of fuck you, you know.
Yeah.
Who cares about your record stores and your... Who cares? You know what I mean? Listen, if you want to be a star and you want to make millions of dollars, you have to do it the old-fashioned way. You have to have a record company, you have to have a video. But I can be a star and not be a star. And I can get away with both. So if I feel like not being a star, I can do that. I know there's at least 10, 20,000 people on the face of the earth who want to listen to me play acoustic guitar. So if that's what I want to do, I can do that. And I have money, so I don't need to be anybody's slave. I don't need to be... If I want to be somebody's slave, then I sign a contract.
Okay, that was the last question. And do you have any other questions you want to ask?
I'd like to know, you said you take one thing, you lost one thing. What did you get in Smashing Pumpkins? What lose your Smashing Pumpkins?
That's a very good question. I think more than anything with the Pumpkins, well, two things. The connection with James, Darcy, and Jimmy, to me, is the main thing. I think that, you know, I mean, it's sort of morbid, but sometimes you think, if I was 85 years old and I was laying in a bed thinking about my life, what would I think on? Would I care about this record review or would I care about this? And so I think that my connection with the Three Pumpkins is very important to me. And I think, and then the music, because I think the music will live on and will bring different things to different people. In some ways, probably even beyond my conception. 30 years from now, 50 years from now, people will hear something in that music and still get something from it. What I lost is, you know, a lot of things that most people would take for granted. Time with my family. You know, I haven't taken good care of my body. You know, You know, just like things that normal people think to do for themselves, you know, go to the dentist or whatever. I'm always pumpkin, 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 so I neglected my life. So, but certainly I got so much more than I lost. So.
後悔はないってなんていうかな。
You don't regret to
No,
what you did.
No.
no. I think you regret little things,
Yeah.
like I wish I would done this, or I would take this song off the album, or better mix, or stupid things. But the big picture, no, not at all. Not at all. How about you? You regret doing this interview?
このインタビューやって後悔してる？
あ
メリシリーズ。
今のは my answer.
That's your answer?
I think now you are 真っ白な状態ってなんていうかな。
Like blank.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but you're happy.
Well, I don't know, because it's going to be such a weird feeling to stop. You know, for the first time in 12 years, I don't have anything I have to do. Every time we come off tour, I immediately go right to, I have to write songs for a new album. Or I have 4 songs, so it's like I start with the 4, you know. Now all of a sudden there's nothing, you know. It's like I know I have to go totally back to the beginning. New sound, new feelings, and also the possibility that I may sit there for a month and not be interested. I may not want to play music. Because if I got off Melancholy tour and I don't want to play music, nobody cares. You know, I have to play music. So now I don't have to play, so I don't know how I'm going to feel. Maybe I don't want to play.
Do you
Maybe
really
that's-
think so?
Huh?
Do you really think so?
That's the thing, I don't know. I'm just saying that I'm open to the idea that maybe I don't want to play music. I don't want to assume that I want to play music, because I think that that's very dangerous if you keep assuming that you're supposed to do something, because that's how people wake up when they're 40 and then they can't write songs anymore, they don't want to tour, they just hate it. And I think they end up hating it because they force themselves to do something, because they're famous and the manager's on the phone and you got to keep going, going, going. I want to make sure that if from here on in my life, if I play music, it's because I want to play. Not because I want to be famous or because the band needs me to write songs, but because I want to play.
It's quite a difficult question. The material is your ideal, and the live performance is a place to destroy. And if you don't have the place to destroy, where could you destroy?
I'm sure I'll find some girls.
What?
Some girls to destroy. Instead of audience, just a girl.
What do you mean by that?
You should have a psychologist analyze it. Psychologist?
Psychologist?
Yeah.
心理学者。
Like Alfred Hitchcock, like a mystery.
Oh, no more mystery.
No?
No.
No, you want the truth.
You gave me already many mysteries in your music, right? Many mysteries.
Yeah?
I never know the answers.
Sometimes the answer is there is no answer.
Yeah, but very interesting to me. Many mysteries there is in your music, you know.
Mhm.
So we try to search the answers. What is the answer is, you know.
I know many of the answers, I just don't always tell them.
Yeah.
But the other thing is that artists, when an artist makes a song or paints a picture, the artist thinks, because they're doing it, they understand everything about the music or the picture. They think they know exactly what it means, but they don't. Because true artists channel energies that are beyond the artist's control. This is why certain artists can communicate to people of other languages, people of completely different backgrounds, because they're translating energies that are beyond the words, beyond the sound. There's another energy in there that the artist doesn't even understand. There are songs. I'll give you a perfect example. When we played the song "I Am One" in the early '90s, I thought I knew what it was about, but I always thought it was kind of a stupid song. I liked the music, but the lyrics I thought were okay. When Jimmy rejoined the band, I decided, first song, first gig, we play "I Am One" again. So when we start rehearsing the song, I'm singing the song, and suddenly I realize the song is much deeper than what I originally thought. That it has a lot more to do with what's going on in Machina than what was going on in Gish. So suddenly I think, how did I know in 1989 what I was going to be saying in the year 2000? But somehow I knew. So this tells me that the artist does not completely understand the things that they're creating. So the artist thinks they know all the answers to the mysteries, but they don't.
So you admit there is many interpretations of the songs by people, like people has their own interpretation. But why this time do you let people decide the interpretation, like on website? Why this time did you do that?
Because I think, in a sort of lame cultural sense, we're entering into an age of interactivity. Everything that's going on in the American presidential race has to do with polls. They call people and they say, I like it when George Bush is strong, or Al Gore is too arrogant. So then the candidate hears, you're too arrogant, so then the candidate tries to not be so arrogant. So this unseen force that is the American public is dictating the way the politicians are acting. Whether it's good or bad, that is the way the world works now. Everything you see on MTV is people trying to make sure that they look a certain way, sound a certain way, so that they will respond to a certain audience. So, in the true spirit of interactivity, the fans have helped. I wrote the album, but the fans have helped create the atmosphere for the album. And probably the ultimate legacy of the album will have as much to do with the fans as it does to do with the band. It's simple. The band is coming to an end. The band has nothing more to gain from exploiting its fans. The band does not have to be mysterious to continue to perpetrate an image that no longer matters. So we became something else to confuse the fans, to make the fans wonder why we became what we became, and then the fans must unravel the mystery.
その答えを提示するのが目的じゃなくて、ファンからの帰りが目的で。
So the purpose is not like let people guessing the answer, but try to get people join with your kind of project.
Actually, there's a bit of truth in what you're saying. It's like they say, I don't know if there's a Japanese saying like this, but it's like the journey is more important than the destination.
Yeah.
And in this particular album, the actual true story of Machina is not as interesting as the journey. The journey through this year. What does this mean? Why is the band breaking up? Why are the band wearing dresses? What does all this mean? The energy has made for the journey. I'll give her one clue.
Okay.
The band on Machina is not the Smashing Pumpkins.
Say it again. マシーナはスマッシングパンプキンズではない。
So the band on stage is also not the Smashing Pumpkins.
Is that mean this time, only this time, or having it been 12 years like that? Or just
That's part of the mystery.
それ答えはある？
Is there any answer?
What's the answer? Well, I'll give you a general answer.
Okay.
I've always felt that the band is above one style, one attitude, grunge rock, electronica, folk, who cares? The band is above that. But people always make so much about the way the band acts, talks, dresses. But to us, it's not important. It's small compared to what the music really means, because the heart is in the music. So, the way the band looked in 1992 is no more important than the way the band looks in 2000. That's part of what I'm saying. The identity of different times and different moments is really not important.
つまり音楽みたいに形のないもの。
So it's like music, there's no shape or no form.
Right. It's like my conception of God is God in the highest aspect is not masculine or feminine. Then the way God has constructed our universe is the masculine to the feminine. The masculine being the dominant, the feminine being the sympathetic. Then the next harmonic is the feminine is the life giver, the male as the force. So in music, it is the soul of the band, the heart of the band is the highest, most important thing. That is the thing that matters the most. Beneath that is the actual music that the band makes. And then beneath that is the style, the clothes, the concerts. But to truly understand a band, one must understand the band's heart. And where bands with great hearts get lost is they pay too much attention to the clothes, to the music, to trying to be something that they're not anymore. Maybe they made great heavy metal music when they were 25, but now they're 40, they're fat, they have children, but still they try to make heavy metal, but it's no good because they're not heavy metal anymore. But the heart is still good. And as a fan, you want to see your favorite people succeed, but yet they're trapped in an image. And what I'm saying is you must always shatter the image, because the image is not important. That image, you being a Japanese girl is no more important than me being an American guy. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. And God made this universe this way so that we would have to try to understand that it's really not that important. What seems important, my country, my flag, my heritage, is not as important as the heart. To explain one part of the mystery, the band has overemphasized its identity to show how unimportant it really is. By overemphasizing the identity of the band. And where some fans have failed is they fell for the trick.
次に次はの話はしてないよね。
ちょろっとした。でも全然何も決まってない。
そうだよね。I'd like to know, what are you waiting for?
Waiting for what?
I think you need some emotion to make music. Yeah, I'm very worried about you lose emotion, something to make music. Not interesting to you, just better than before. So I thought you waiting for 湧き上がってくるってなんて言えばいい？自分の中から湧き上がってくるもの。
You're waiting for something from the bottom of your heart.
Yeah. Like an emotion or something, or.
Well, see, it's a very good question. My answer to that is, I must destroy my own image of myself first. And then I believe when I destroy the image, my emotion will return. But I feel very trapped in the image of the Smashing Pumpkins. I mean, you know me a little bit. You know that the person that you talk to is not the person that they write about in the magazines. I'm much bigger than that, much deeper, much nicer, maybe even meaner than that.
Yeah.
But I'm more than that. Hello? Hey. Good.
これは最速の電話だ。
We're still going.
大丈夫？こんな感じで進んでます。きっ
Okay.
と。
So, I can't constantly try to fend off the media, fend off Siamese dream people, fend off how come you don't play Silverfuck anymore. I can't do that anymore because it forces me to put on an image that is not me at 33 years old. I'm not the same person. And rather than celebrate the fact that I am the person that wrote today, people are they're bemoaning the fact that I'm not the person who continues to write today. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be that person. I was the person who wrote today because I was myself. And if I'm not myself, then I will never write another song like that. It won't be the same song, but it will be from my heart. So Machina is very much about the disconnection. The image that has been put on the band both by the media and by the fans to where it's a crushing weight, suffocating. And the band has been suffocated, both by love and by hate. And the band takes full responsibility for not being strong enough to overcome. And when the band realized that the band could no longer overcome, then that's what started the Machina thing, because we had nowhere else to go. Because we cannot be what people want us to be. Because we've never been what people wanted us to be. People only figured out Siamese Dream was great after the fact. We knew it was great in 1992 before anybody heard. So this is the way.
So when you destroy your own image and get out of the trap, your real you will come out.
I hope so, yeah. And I'll start create a new image that I will be trapped in. That's the whole idea behind, as simple as it is, despite all my rage, I'm still just a rat in a cage. You think that by being angry or being forceful that you're going to bust out of the cage, but you bust out of the cage and you find it's just a bigger cage. Life is a cage. Even if you bust out of your cultural identity, your sexual identity, you still realize, I'm going to die someday. Am I ever going to have children? Am I going to be in love? There's so many more cages that are bigger than just who we are right in our face. And it applies in so many different ways. You can meet a beautiful girl who has no soul and she doesn't understand what life is about. You can meet a girl who doesn't feel beautiful but understands life so deeply and feels so much pain but doesn't understand that that pain can be turned into something beautiful. So it applies to everybody. In my case, I'm just the reflection. I just hold up the mirror, and somebody once told me that nobody likes to look in the mirror. So when you hold up the mirror, they're going to kill you because you're holding the mirror, because they don't want to look into the mirror. So you have to understand they're going to try to kill you. So for 12 years I've held up the mirror and everybody's tried to kill me. Now I'm going to put down the mirror.
So you need a rest. I think you need a alarm clock. You restart, you reborn.
Right.
それが何かっていうのは今は分からない状態。もしくはそれが何か分かっててそれを待ってる状態。
Do you know what is going to wake you up, or do you still don't know and you're still waiting for what it is?
The biggest issue is public or private artist. Does that make sense?
Public and private.
Public or private. See, if I'm an artist that's a private artist, then it really changes what I'm trying to accomplish. For example, when I write a song, I think if the song is 5 minutes long, I think it would be better to cut the song to 4 minutes because more people will understand easy. You know, can I say the same thing but in 4 minutes? But if I write a 10-minute song or a 15-minute song that has a long, many words and tells a very long story, not so many people are going to listen. So I know this. If I'm a private artist, then maybe I just make 15-minute songs, and maybe only a few people listen, but the people who listen understand very deeply. As a public artist, you have to always take into account reaction and what you're going to say, because the world is very loud and crowded, and so you have to be very concise about how you say things, especially today.
So you want to be a private artist?
No, I don't know. I do know that as a public artist, I don't like interviews, videos. I don't like all this. You know, most interviews, it's so stupid you can't even imagine. The questions are so stupid. To me, it's like beneath me, you know. And maybe I'm arrogant, but I don't think I should have to answer such stupid questions. You know? So, it's very difficult. I have to decide first, public or private. Maybe both. Maybe I can be both. Maybe I can survive publicly and privately. But this is the question for me.
もう答えは分かってるんじゃないの？
She said, maybe you know the answer. No.
I think I know, but I don't. I'm not sure. It's very hard to be a public artist. It's very complicated.
Looks like it.
The rewards are great, but the bullshit is too much.
Yes.
Was it a stupid question too? No.
I think that's all about it. She wants to, the question she wants to know is finished. So.
Oh, I thought she was going to ask a stupid question.
Are you satisfied?
Okay.
Are you satisfied?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very good. Good
Thank
question.
you.
Good questions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Picture okay?
Okay?
Picture okay?
あ、写真は
No. That picture okay?
この写真は
Only one? Oh, it's a float page of our magazine.
No.
Do you mind if we take
No
some
choice, the
photos?
picture.
Huh?